Hi, old beaver! Away!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Kritzcast. We're continuing our coverage of the 20th season of ETF2L. This is, of course, the Premiership division where the elite fight it out week after week to find out who will be reaching the playoffs and taking home a title for themselves. Two of the teams we haven't seen so far this season will be facing off. Last season's runners-up, Envision, will be taking on Multinational Massacre Reborn, one of the new teams playing their first season, although there are some familiar faces in the lineup. I'm CeeJaey, and tonight I'm going to be joined by Domaytoe on the casting desk and ArchRhythm doing the production in the background. Domaytoe, new season, new faces, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready for tonight because they readied up. We are a bit off taken there because they are probably going to start in time quite soon here because all the players are on the server. I'm ready, CeeJaey. Would you believe it? Season 20. That's double my age. I'm a bit confused as they're just inflating the seasons so much because Highlander has grown up, it seems. So straight up the blocks, as you just said, that I can see one team is probably going to be horrible to pronounce, so it's MMR for the blue team, and the other team will be Envision. So yeah, just straight up the blocks, CeeJaey, who's your pick for tonight?
Personally, I think it's going to be Envision. I'm not sure if Arch is able to show the rosters up on the screen for us, but I can run down the Envision lineup. We have some big names. I mean, they were the runners-up last season. They have that experience, and I think as time's gone on, they have that unity. So, facing up for Envision is going to be Utker on Scout, who was Scout of the Season for Season 19. Duels on Soldier, one of the most impressive soldiers in Prem at the moment, I must say. DQZ on Pyro, Wiethoofd on Demo, who was MVP of last season and Demo of the season. Barthis is going to be playing on Heavy, and I'm not sure if Barthis is going to be a main or whether CeeJaey is still a main, but Barthis is playing on Heavy tonight. Asux is going to be on Engineer, Jorge on Medic, Stinghan on Sniper, and Chupa on Spy. The latter two there, big influences in Poland's victory in the Nations Cup during the summer as well. Some newer faces on MMR though, Domaytoe. We've got Canlock on Scout, Tim Tum Soldier, Sis playing on Pyro, Stan on Demo, Buck, you may know from previous seasons in Prem, playing Heavy, Honjo on Engineer, Trum on Medic, Solo on the Sniper, and Psycho, a former Toucan, I believe, playing in Prem before, on Spy. Who do you think is going to need to step up, Domaytoe, on MMR to make it a first match to remember for them?
It's gonna be a tough one because I feel like what you just mentioned, Envision definitely, especially in recent seasons, have picked up the ball and definitely showed how good they are on the coordination. They also had a crits, by the way. They have crit sticky, so that's something to watch while we roll out. Usually you have to watch, especially in those suicide waves, just pick classes or the flank maybe going massively huge, which maybe Envision does not expect. But here comes the first suicide wave.
Yeah, they're going to launch in there, try to get something down onto Jorge, and gets a bit of damage onto him, but it's going to be 4 casualties for MMR. I'm making up 5 actually. And nothing really happening from the side of Envision. They don't take any damage. Some good wrangling there from an Engineer Asux, able to help out his team too. So this is generally what happens in Upward. The defensive team just chills out. Envision there in the red, while the blue team, MMR, is just going to try and throw bodies forward, wait till their Spy and Sniper get into position, and then try to just, do that pincer movement, get everyone onto something important. The Sniper, the Medic, the NG, something like that.
Yeah, and Psycho just wiggled about and finally got to the hill, and right now they're trying to pressure forward here. Buck does get stick down in the end, but got some forward pressure. So much damage coming in and forces Jorge to use on his Demo. I don't know if it was to save the Demo because he went to half HP, but then again, the result is the same because he does get forced, so full Uber advantage now for Trump.
Yeah, Jorge actually went down to about 50, 60 HP there, so that's a safe decision there, smart decision to keep himself alive because, when you're at that HP, there's so many different damage sources that can take you down. Psycho's actually taking down the Teleporter as well. Stingan goes down to Solo, so Uber is going to be used onto Stan and Sis. They're going to be trying to chase. Envision not getting out, and there we go. Solo with the headshot onto Jorge means no heals for Envision. 3 down now. Barth is also dying. Asix is going to use that space wrench to get himself back to the spawn, but that is extremely productive push there from MMR, comfortably taking that first point.
Yeah, you can see just how easy at some point it is as Wiethoofd goes down, so no hill hold as well. This first push just worked by them going widely spread. They didn't even need so much Uber because the Uber was almost over when they reached the sentry gun, but nobody did take any damage, nobody died. So that's just a clinical first push for them because they just got all their players in and had full Uber advantage to play with. Right now Roche went down in the backlines there to a headshot, so they still have this 40 to 50% disadvantage. They're getting some frags here, the flank is down from MMR, but shouldn't matter all that much as they're just trying to secure the ground and literally just wait for the card to be close up. So all of these forays and actual trades probably not going to be all this important as now comes the Uber in.
Yeah, it's actually going to take down Asics and the sentry. Asics was kind of on the wrong side of his sentry there. I'm not sure if there was a spy or something, but ended up being, you know, facing his back towards the demo man, and that Uber just takes him down. Jorge does survive, but this has taken them slightly longer than it maybe should have. They had this huge Uber advantage. They didn't really able to take the ground, and that's because Duo, the soldier on Envision, was actually blocking the car. He was blocking the car, and if you don't have the objective, it's not really a point in pushing the rest of your players forward, but Envision do have this huge Uber advantage. Now Domaytoe is dead for another 15 seconds, but they are starting to get a few frags here, and they may be able to just solidify themselves on the third point, which is, of course, we know Domaytoe is where we get most of your time on the defensive side.
That was a really late death there from Wiethoofd. They almost had a good time frame there because Wiethoofd with another player just jumped the balcony and tried to maybe force or something, but he did it at the exact time frame as they pushed in, so all that pressure or action was actually to no avail. Psycho right now actually does get found out, so no pick coming in from him, and Stingen is still reigning supreme here there. Well, or maybe he gets solo sniped down there, so that actually does open up the space to push in because both teams are on Uber, so this Uber push and Uber exchange will probably be imminent.
Yeah, there's actually looks like a conch coming out from Envision. It is equal Ubers, so, you know, I don't think Envision have much to worry about, but they're giving so much free space to MMR. They take down Chupa, which isn't a huge pick, but Duo's also gone down. The counter Uber does come out, but they've managed to get this cart so far up the tracks that it doesn't really matter now. MMR will take that as an absolute win, and they're still pushing. Honjo and Canlock on the cart finally get taken down there, but it takes a lot of players. 4 players down for Envision. MMR looking extremely strong, just walking forward and not showing any respect to the last season's runners-up.
Yeah, they have to take the balcony here, like TimTom is still occupying this. The defensive team would have probably needed to take this forward ground here to actually pressure the compound, but right now they're just going to be stalled out there and actually buy enough time for the cart to get pushed forward. The cart actually rolled down as Canlock just died, but then again the engineer stepped up to the play and actually pushed it up the final ramp, and well, 4 minutes and 34 seconds, which is not a lot of time considering especially that they kept third in this time frame. As you said, it's gonna be a point that usually takes a lot of time to to be kept essentially. Stan does go down, but right now they'll probably just be happy, you know, just sitting around waiting for the card to be forward, and then we'll have to see from that on.
Yeah, Domaytoe gets a couple of kills there, and I think that just stopped the onslaught from MMR. Buck and Stan both went down, and you know, when you two of your main combo players die there, everyone just kind of just chilled out for a little bit, regrouped around their medic, went on to see what they could get doing instead. And you see Envision, they're safe, they have Uber, they're in the high ground, and they're just waiting now, and in come the suicides. They do take down Domaytoe to actually stand with the pipes, but that's the only kill they're going to get. And they actually get the force. My mistake, they got the force onto Jorge. I totally missed that. He went down to about 60 HP, and he gets force. And now, again, Uber advantage for Trum, has 100% in the bank, takes a lick of damage there, but he's going to be able to, it's exactly a replica of the first point here, Domaytoe.
Yeah, it's nice that they actually remembering how they successfully pushed the first point, because they also realized the points before they lost some players, but it didn't actually matter right now though. There comes the Uber in with a scout and a demo. Really fast players, kills TQZ, but just the separation on top passes finally does go down. TimTom getting stabbed as well, so the flank is down, but they got some frags here. They have to be clinical, they have to be crucially getting space here. There's a big scout v scout there on top. Utka going to go to the low ground and actually get killed by the mini sentry right there. Domaytoe is really weak as well. They're getting very much put into their passive defensive stance here, the Envision team. They're just trying to get something, get a grip on something, on any ground really, and Jorge is on 70 HP as well, and he's on 80% though, as they're just waiting, and Trum does go headshot, so that should definitely solidify all the defensive playhold once again. And CeeJaey, the card is still far back.
Yeah, that's the thing there. It was a really interesting push. They went through front stairs. Not often you see a team do that. And then they went in with the scout. Scout Uber through front stairs. They managed to get a lot of damage, a couple of kills, but everyone just scarpered. Everyone just went to different places. They kited the Uber, and a lot of people survived and started winning their 1v1s. And if you're winning 1v1s all over the map, the defensive side are just going to slow things down. And Asix the entire time was wrangling his sentry and just making sure no one was taking the high ground for free. And because he's got a level 3 teleporter on the high ground, it means the respawns were able to contest from the high ground when they got up. And they take a look at Envision now. They are back in position with an Uber. And like you said, because Trump got domed there, by Stinghand, sorry, it meant that they have an Uber and they can just chill and wait for MMR to try and catch up.
Yeah, and the card is still further on rolling backwards. I've never seen a card this far back, honestly, in this position. Like, maybe they should just, you know, get actual people on the card, because, like, look at this. I don't know what they're doing, because they have Uber, but, like, this Uber will probably not do anything. Solo's trying to get something here. Stinghand was on 5k, by the way. Usually you just have to press the tabulator space key and see how big of kill streaks the defensive team is on, because right now they're actually getting their kill streaks high up. They lost some players there, especially their pick class is going down in DQZ as well, but I don't think they will probably push off the offensive team, as they will spawn in time. So yeah, CeeJaey, this might be the first maker or breaker of this first round, honestly.
I think this is just the experience from Envision showing right now. Like, they're in a good position, and MMR have had some, you know, decent exchanges, but they're not, like you said, they're not pressuring that car. They've allowed it, like that choke point below the little balcony there, that's where you want to get it through. And when you have an Uber exchange, ideally you want somebody on the car just to push it forward. It does look like we might go for an exchange here. Sis goes down. And I don't think Buck and Stan are going to want to go for anything now. And there we go, Stan goes down while Buck is noshing on a sandwich. And maybe he's just going to hide there, try and catch somebody out. But they are hunting him down. Stinghand does get down to Solo. Solo's been having a good game so far against last season's, or one of the best snipers around. I can't remember if he won Sniper of the season or not. He may well have done. But Domaytoe goes down to the backside from Psycho. So then maybe that'll open things up for another suicide wave.
Yeah, they're finally opening. It all stemmed down from Stinghand going down right now. They're actually brave enough to take the push here into a Pyro Uber versus Demo Uber, and then flashing a Pyro as well. So a bit worse Uber there on the offense, actually not getting any ground for free. Psycho also getting stepped by Chupa, some psychological warfare going in spy versus spy action right now. Solo still trying to do something on tracks, does get denied though a lot by Duo. Yeah, there's just a lot of ringer rosing around, but now the defensive players actually are going down, and still on 15-second like respawn wave, 3 of them.
Yeah, this is a lot of players to regroup, and that teleporter is up. Jorge is there, and he's healing people from this passive position. Just waiting. There's going to be 3 respawns right now. Domaytoe's gone down. Stinghand is still sniping. Duo's actually taken the teleporter up to the high ground and actually gets a ton of damage down, and they're still holding up here. Trum has gone down to Chupa, that revolver finishing off the medic, and again Envision just backing off into a position where they know that they can still fight when their respawns come in, and that teleporter is still up, and because it's up, it just means the respawns are able to retake the high ground. The car is very close to the pit now, but unless MMR can win an exchange and take hold of the high ground while their players are pushing, they're not going to be successful, and the time is ticking on.
They're once again doing this dry push here with their combo and actually getting the force out. Solo does get stepped back, doesn't really matter, as there comes just so much pressure on this backstairs area. They actually do get the force. But CeeJaey, or ArchRhythm even, just talking to the production here, just get your cam on draw, and I just have to stress how unusual it is to see a soldier this aggressive into the enemy team for the last like 2 or 3 minutes. He's not getting denied, he's literally claiming tracks by himself on the defense. They don't have any control over tracks. This is so unusual to see, honestly, and especially before. I don't know either who to laud or who to blame, really, that the card wasn't like pushed for so long. And probably it all stemmed down because the flank of MMR was very, very not brave enough to cross into Stinghand, but Stinghand right now does get stick down, so that might be some openings once again.
Yeah, Jorge gets backstabbed there by Psycho as he's trying to retreat, and Duo does get taken down in main as he tried to push forward and, you know, clear out the tracks. But again, they've taken hold of the high ground. They got a lot of kills up there, but people weren't pushing the car, and because there wasn't enough people on the high ground, they haven't been able to get any spam in the sentry. Asix is going to be so bored right now. Unless wrangling's your cup of tea, fair enough. He's probably having a whale of a time, but he's just been up there wrangling and wrangling and wrangling, and no one's touched him. He's not really had to do anything too unorthodox to keep himself alive. And because he's wrangling onto that cart, no one's able to do anything. But TimTum, great jump up, takes down Dtoad, but so many other people go down there. They get cleaned up. Trum's down again, and inVision again just being in control.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Like, honestly, Dtoad getting a 4 or 5k and then just a flank from inVision, getting aggressive, killing solo, getting a couple of frags with that and literally almost wiping the enemy team by themselves. Jorge in the end of that has a 50% advantage once again. They're trying to go to the high ground and it actually does work. Both does die in the process, Trump as well, but they're getting a lot of pressure right now. Finally, Jorge is very, very weak. He's going to back out. He's actually getting back into the spawn. And it's probably going to be back to square one, but you see what changed, CeeJaey. They have the flank on the cart. There comes the defensive Uber though, getting on Joe, killing both of them, but maybe they can actually do something out of that right now.
Yeah, it was actually Psycho who managed to get the backstab onto Asics and take down that sentry. Might have been his first death since that second point, a long time. But the counter Uber coming in, they weren't, they had to get Jorge down there. He was at 90%, backing off into spawn at about 30 HP. They did not finish him off. And those are the things. The entirety of TF2 revolves around the medic. He is the most important class. If you kill him, it means your team has heals, your team has Uber, and they did not kill Jorge. His counter Uber came out, they cleaned up the car, and they managed to get the frags, and they managed to take the high ground once again. Barthis winning a 1v1 versus Buck, but so much damage comes in here from both sides. TimTum's down, Trum's down, Jorge's gone down to stand. 4 versus 4 right now. And everyone on inVision is on the low ground, but they're just cleaning up. They're winning the 1v1s, and nobody's able to get close to that cart. 1 minute 10 left on the cart to go before it goes in, Domaytoe. Like, because
the flank is just winning all the time, like they're always like alive from inVision. They're just literally roaming around, doing whatever they want. Like Utka's on a 2k, Dro is on a 3k. They're just getting these little frags and actually helping people stabilize. Dro is still on top. He's still completely just doing so much for his team, claiming so much ground, getting so much kills, killing Kenlock, going out, finally getting shut down there by TimTum, but then the scout comes in and gets a wonderful trade there once again.
Jorge slips and falls into the pit. I was gonna say Chupa managed to get a backstab onto Trump, but Jorge just kind of like slips on like the stairs, I think, and falls into the pit and dies. I was gonna say that was probably gonna be it for MMR's chances with a huge Uber disadvantage. But 20 seconds left on the clock. They've actually got a few kills. They have 50% in the back. Not really time for them to use this charge. But Duwoe is going to be trying his best to try and block this car. Honjo trying his best to push the car. And actually, for once, MMR have the high ground. They are in total control. And inVision under so much pressure right now.
If they don't cap this right now, there's absolutely no excuse. They're actually getting all the frags, the players onto it, but now the flank comes in once again. Their Bane, the spy comes in as well, killing TimTum. There is no excuse for you not getting this after the Psycho trying to jump on the... Oh god. Okay, a lot of stuff happened. So, first of all, there's no excuse for you not pushing when the enemy team is literally only 4 players up, They just stood around, twiddled their fingers once again, and then in the end, the flank came in once again just to rub it in their face and just say, we've been on top of you all game and all day long, essentially, as it feels like it for me at least, and then they just killed them once again, and in the end Psycho also tried to jump on the cart, but maybe he unbinded his spacebar to taunting or something, so he just fell down. So yeah, CeeJaey, in the end they're only going to cap 3 points in a very quick time, but this is probably going to be very mentally on their minds, weighing on their minds that they didn't cap the last point.
Absolutely. I mean, the key thing, and for those of you who are watching who are like, oh, Highlander, I want to learn how to play upward. When you're pushing last, there's like 3 things you need to do. One of them is to lock down the spawns. Now, there's 3 different spawn doors. You're not going to be able to lock down all of them, but try and lock down 1 or 2. The other thing is get someone pushing the cart, and the third thing is to have someone on the high ground to defend those people pushing the cart. And they never had all of those 3 covered. And at the end there, they had people on the high ground defending the cart pushers. They had the people pushing the cart, but no one locking down the spawns. So when the spawns came in from inVision, they just launched themselves onto the cart. And again, like you said, they just keep winning these fights. And as it is, not capping the last points means that inVision just need to capture the first 3 points within the next, 4 minutes and 20 seconds? Or they just need to capture last point before the round timer ticks down. So they have a lot of freedom right now. Big jump in from Duwoe. He's going to get launched into the skybox though, and doesn't actually get anything done here. But the Uber's out really early, Domaytoe.
Yeah, because the sentry gun was really, really close up and it's still not going down. Jorge is just trying to dance in the front of it, and it finally got zapped back, so it's still up essentially and getting built there right now in the backlines by Honcho, who gets his head taken off as a reward for his duties, just building his robot up. And right now they're actually going to use just to get out. It is probably the safe play, but then again, in the result you can't sugarcoat it, because it means that the first point goes in the favor of the blue team in like half a minute, and Chupa even coming in from the side tunnel and getting a pick onto stand, so they might have actually been able to hold the hill here, but probably not without their demo man.
Yeah, they're just being so aggressive here. They're just, you know, they don't care about getting for the advantages. It's where MMR were going in for these suicide plays and managing to get the force and then using a big Uber advantage to get stuff done. inVision do not care about that. They are holding W. They get solo down. There's no sniper. They're just walking forward. There's no Ubers in play here, and they're just launching themselves on. They take down stand, 20-second respawn on that man, and no demo. Look at them. They haven't even captured second yet. They're pushing up onto third. They are just all flooding forward. They just want to take these fights as quickly as possible. They want to cap this in 3.
I don't know what the game plan on the defense on the offending team right now is, or on the defending team rather, but there comes a force actually from TimTam getting in there and forcing Jorge. Let's see, TQZ gets completely denied there. They need to clear these people out of the side tunnel as they're trying to walk all their way through forward, and there's still Bath is close here. They need a scout and a demo to kill him, but finally do clean him up. The card is really, really far back, so I don't know really what the game plan there was from MMR on the second point, but then again, they have the time to hold this for 2.5 minutes, but Kenlock does go down. You know, they are just allowing them so much space right now, which is really the key factor, that you can't really let the enemy team just get all the space.
Yeah, I mean, you give them space, then they're able to do a lot more with it. And then we go, people are going down here. Dito has gone down. That's probably a lot of the forward pressure taken out of the team right now, but look where the cart is. They've had so much free time to push the cart this far. It means they just need to get it around that corner, up these next 2 slopes, and they've done it. And, you know, one Uber exchange here could be enough of a distraction to get this done, especially when you take a look at the players who are currently down for MMR. This next exchange could decide this round.
Yeah, and well, look, just look at the card. Like, all of the front stuff probably doesn't matter, as finally there comes a jump there onto the card, killing Essex, who is trying to push it all the way. On the front there, when they actually exchanged Ubers, nothing really happened, as Trump still has his Uber, but they probably need to spread out more here. There's a big demo showdown. Actually, Dito does go down, but they're losing so much players. 4 down. They still have this defensive Uber, but probably not going to be all that vital and actually crucial with not so much players up. They are still on long respawn waves, and Utka is again just assuming this card position. They need to negotiate themselves more actual forward pressure. The defensive team, they're just sitting there. They have this Uber, they need to go forward.
Yeah, they're just kind of waiting here. I'm not sure what they're waiting for, whether, like, if they don't stop the cart, they lose. I'm not, you know, they should be aware of this. The Uber does come in, but it's too late. The cart crosses the line. Yeah, they had 1 minute left on the clock to hold on to the 3rd point. It just seemed throughout the entire game that they focused a lot on the exchanges as opposed to the objective. And inVision were just constantly pushing and going forward, and all of the fighting, all of the exchanges with their combo was merely a distraction for their team to keep pushing the cart.
A big surprise to anyone, so the card must be so happy. Like, I can just feel its joy by the second phase of the first round, because, you know, after the first round from the MMR offense, it probably felt like decrepit. You know, it just felt so abandoned, so alone, and so lonely, because nobody ever actually gave him any attention. But then in the second phase there, it just got pushed literally non-stop, and this is how you win. I mean, it's not so much flashy, even if sometimes washed up casters who are like boring, you know, talk about things that matter, like the objective, but usually that's not flashy pushing the objective, but you win by doing that, obviously.
Yeah.
And just as a little side note, as a rule of thumb, you can maybe write on your hand, so the most important 2 or 3 things in the game you have to keep in mind heal you. It is the objective, the card, a medic, and maybe a dispenser, but, you know, most of the time it's quite easy to just lock off that, but maybe MMR just... I think there's a serious issue in their communication, honestly.
I mean, I draw comparisons with, like, Lakeside, for example. You know, a lot of people used to focus so much on controlling the pool house, the Lakeside house, and not care about the point. And they're like, oh, we've got control of the lake house. And it's like, well, but you don't have control of the point, so it doesn't really matter. And it felt like MMR were putting themselves in positions to defend the area, but they weren't defending the objective, and it gave inVision so much free time. And yeah, maybe they're just a little bit shell-shocked there. And a second round here, It is a best of 3, which means Envision will be attacking first, and maybe MMR now, learning the error of their waves, will be able to defend themselves slightly better. Actually, interesting position here from Honjo with the sentry gun. That's like that's like, was Trump down?
Drop. Really good coordination from the from both jumping players. Sorry to interrupt you there, but there was a big flashing in the air, and it was Trump going down. Not so much he could do there. He literally got pincered by both splash projectiles. It just hit them at the exact same time. So that is that. Yeah, let's see what they can actually make out of that. But I think this first point will probably be of quite short lived. They shouldn't wipe here.
No, I mean, they're coming in forward. They have used the Uber. The sentry, Domaytoe is going to launch himself forward. Does take down Solo. So Sniper down. Will go down to Canlock, but I don't think he's going to mind too much. What's that, 5 players down there? It is going to be equal Ubers now. But it's just, that's a really tough blow. You know, as a team, you know, you had a really good start in that first attacking phase, and then they just can't push last. And then Trump getting pressured here by Duo, isn't going to die though, but they've just all been forced back. Look at Barthis, he's in position already to move forward. You know, they just, at the moment, they're just on the back of their feet. They have to back off constantly, and it's not a nice way to play the game. You want to be dictating the pace of the game. You want to be dictating where the players are going to go. And at the moment, Envision are just saying, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. You have to react to it. And then MMR need to come up with an answer soon.
Yeah, MMR is literally just the piece of the jigsaw puzzle of like the offensive team, because they're just playing with them. They're literally doing whatever they want. Right now, though, in those kind of scenarios, it shines if you are a Prem team. You know, you have to keep yourself together. You have to forget all that happened before, and you just have to play in the moment and right now. So we focus on right now. They used the Uber quite early on here. The Envision team, and they actually do have better Uber there. DQZ also going to die, and Drow as well, so they're actually going to secure the area. Domaytoe is still close and probably going to be caught out there. Canlock is trying to just point blank shoot him a bit away, and he's quite weak and he's going back. The card is still far back, so this was just a safe exchange. They didn't get anything vital, but then again they didn't lose anything vital, the offense here. They get Stan in the end of that, so that might actually be the opener once again maybe.
Yeah, and with Timtum down, there's less people to try and block the car. And we know how much of an issue that was for them on this point. And Timtum was the one doing most of the stuff. And you take a look at Domaytoe, he's so far forward. DQZ as well, they're just controlling this corner. And the car pushers are just doing it for free. And even though that there's 7 players up, there's a lot of players alive in Highlander, they are so passive, they just have no response. And Timtum goes down to a reflect there. Sis also goes down. No one is in position to block this car. They're just going to keep pushing it for free.
Yeah, they just, I don't know, I think it seems like it's quite bizarre. It looks like they want to, amazing stuff there by Trump, honestly. Still have to point this out. He was on full Uber, then the soldier just jumped through actually on him, and then he surfed back into the respawn queue, so some last lightning rounds probably, but 3 minutes and 15 seconds for 3 points once again. Not all that good, and Envision just have so much momentum right now. Chupa's already on the spawn, going to kill the dispenser and trying to get something on top. So, yeah, once again, CeeJaey, they're actually being forced into a passive position and just waiting to be initiated on his. Here comes Uber.
Oh, look at Stinghan. You don't want a sniper there. Like, he is just taking pot shots. Eventually does go down to Solo, but he's already done enough damage that it doesn't really matter. Like, look where the card is right now. Psycho, yeah, he unblocked the cart. Jorge is actually backing off. He's the one pushing the cart right now. There's just players all over the place, and they're just fighting everywhere. It's really chaotic, but that's playing into Envision's hands right now. They need to win some fights here. Big jump in from Duo. Can't get the medic though, and the respawns are coming in from Envision. They're getting onto the car. They're constantly pushing it forward. It's a mini sentry now from Honjo to try to defend it. And again, people have the high ground for Envision. They're controlling the area. Stinghan is in the place where you don't want the attacking sniper. As the red team, you don't want to be, you know, in a situation where Stinghan is. He takes down the sentry. He's able to do so much. And the car is just being pushed.
Yeah, it's very methodical right now, but they actually need people to step up here to the play. The defensive team, they're just trying to win this battle of attrition, actually going to work out short-lived. But Utka does LG the car, no, the spy away from the cart and actually going to cap it right there, while Trump was on 99% and quite passive, but then again they almost had Uber. So 4 minutes and 47 seconds, that is not a very happy time. I want to cheer them on, you know, I want to get the vibes through the internet and actually have a happy fight, but it's just not a happy game for them.
considering how well they started, you know, I mean, I was having like this thing in my head of saying, you know, I felt Envision could potentially again be the biggest challengers to STCK this season. You know, they pushed them to 3 maps in the final last season. You know, they could well have gone on and won the title. And I feel like even though Fela Esports has come back, like Envision have kept the majority of the same roster. They're looking really solid together, and they did beat both Fela and STCK in the 7v7 league recently in Invite. They are the Sevens champions, so these players play a lot together, and they're doing really, really well. But that early start from MMR was making me think, oh, Envision looking a little bit shaky, you know, but not at all now. That time is it's about the same time it took MMR to push the first 3 points. Again, to reiterate the issue with Stinghand there, where he's allowed to just shoot what he wants. And as the defensive team, you can get shot from pretty much anywhere from one of those windows. And Solo, on the defensive side, knowing that Stinghand is there, has to focus his attention on Stinghand. He has to focus on the enemy sniper. He cannot do anything else. He can't block the cart, which puts a lot of pressure on everybody else. And it's just like a snowball, really. Honjo with a jump in there, using was that the mini sentry jump?
They all just jumped into a Wrangle sentry gun. That's all I could see. Like, they literally melted in a matter of some seconds. They hurled their bodies forward. I give them credit for that one. They all went in at the same time. They're going to go into the respawn at the same time, but it's not working for them. They probably have to take this exchange without having themselves engineered themselves any big advantages or any advantages at all, I should say. Right now Wiethoofd is actually trying to stick forward and aggressive because Envision, they know they just chunk off like 10 to 20 seconds on each point. They're going to be in quite good shape.
They have taken down Stinghand. Pipes from Stan will take him down. Uthkud's gone down and has Barthes. Solo now with the freedom to snipe with Stinghand down. And those are kind of 3 important kills. You know, your anti-aircraft's gone, your sniper's gone, and your Uthkud's gone, which is going to give a bit of a space for MMR now. Stan on the respawn. Trum is out. And it looks like they need to take an exchange right now, Domaytoe. Like, they got just over 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, they're using really early. They struggled so insanely hard to just get draw out of this top right position. Right now they actually managed to, use very early and actually get completely collapsed on Wiethoofd on 4K at the end of that. Stan also going down to D2Z there, and they're just getting pressured so much. Their Buck also going to fall. And the flank is so aggressive, they're just having no respect at all. They're going forward. They're actually going to kill Solo there at the end of that, but Trump actually does get out. But they were just so aggressive with this banner, and the thing is, they don't even lose all that much. They lose their soldier, but they're so comfortable, it's quite ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, on this first point, this defensive side, it can be quite simple to keep holding it, really. Wiethoofd on a 5k, by the way, just constantly killing people with those stickies. But as long as you don't lose too many people, then you're able to just re-push, and with a conch, it's so much more effective. Chupa with the backstab there may well be... Was it a face stab? Okay. It may well be the nail in the coffin, or the knife in the coffin. As without a medic, just over 2 minutes to go, they still need to capture the next 3 points. And they do not have an Uber to deal with that. Jorge does, however, and he is rooted in a nice, safe position. Stinghand taking down Solo. So a lot of pressure on it here for MMR, but it may well be just out of their reach as the Uber comes in here.
Yeah, they're just trying to farm their locks right now. Just the flank getting Ubered. Jorge realizing who is the key phase players. Actually, the big surf from the Pyro going to go out. Sis getting killed there in the end though by Utka. He's on a 4k. They're actually not this high up on the kill streaks, but they're just getting picks constantly. Psycho though, with a double stab, they're a bit too late. Unfortunately, it is only 1.5 minutes, so down time can be quite long here on Highlander, but maybe they can even cap like 1 or 2 points for their morale. We have to see, because it's early on in the season, so you definitely want to get some practice, and right now they still have this Uber advantage, so they might have actually been able to push in. TimTom is claiming the balcony area here. Barth is really weak, so you can't deny anything anymore, and both are going down by TimTom, so Jorge as well. CeeJaey, they need to do this like 1 or 2 minutes or 3 minutes earlier, so
yeah.
Well.
Sometimes it's moments like this where you know you've lost the game, like there's no way that they can win it now, where they just go balls to the wall and just hold W and see what happened. That's what Envision did. That was Envision's strat, and it worked. And maybe this will be them thinking, hang on a minute, If we just throw ourselves forward, then maybe we win. And they do use an Uber here. Solo getting that kill on Jorge early on. Remember, kids, check out the forums and you'll get the stat spreadsheet as someone always does. You know, you need to have those extra med picks for the end of season voting. Got to make yourself look good in logs. As Tim Tam starts to get a lot of kills, he gets another med pick for his logs. See, you know, MMR. Got to farm those logs now, and they're actually doing really well.
But do we also have the stat for medics dropped on the spreadsheet, CeeJaey?
I don't think that doesn't exist though, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No. There is.
Apparently not.
Do you remember the old TF2 lobby website?
Well, yeah, the really
It was basically called TF2lobby.com, right? And
Yeah.
on that website, it had integrated stats. This was before LogsTF was a thing. And there used to be something called Ubercepts, as in like an intercept, but a Ubercept, right? And it would count how many times you actually dropped a medic, which I thought was really cool, but it never got added into LogsTF, and I thought that would have been a really cool thing to see.
I think it's very disrespectful, CeeJaey, from you that you don't focus on this game and just talk about, you know, we are still on air. So Envision going to be the first one, just taking it there solidly 6-0. Yeah, I mean, that's a nice excuse for not including logs back, medics dropped stats back in season 11 when you did the stats, but I'm going to give you a leeway on that one. But yeah, well, that was the first
I
game.
never dropped, Domaytoe. I never dropped.
Yeah, sure.
Never. I mean,
This is why your medic gun is Hale's own, because it counts Uber's dropped.
yeah, first game done there. Envision, maybe not to anyone's surprise, winning that 2-0, getting the full 6 points. Perhaps the start of the game, if you joined and watched for the first 3 or 4 minutes, you may have thought MMR, wow, actually putting the pedal to the metal and actually getting a lot done, but Envision showing their experience.
Yeah, good team. I would bet my keys on that on Saloon TF and then lose everything. You see, this is usually how it goes.
Saloon, see, you're being a boomer right now. You're being a TF2 boomer.
Anyway, yeah, CeeJaey.
Do we have logs? I'm just trying to have a look.
Well,
I'm typing furious.
Why we put up boring numbers that don't tell you anything about the game? CeeJaey, what do you think MMR need to do better?
I'm perusing the logs. Hang on. Utker got a lot of kills. There's no combined logs, so that's it. That's all I'm going to do for the stats. That was Utker, I think, top fragged. I don't know. Maybe. Don't quote me. I don't know. I think MMR have some really good players there, and they had some really interesting strats. I really love their push on last, where they did the scout Uber through front stairs. I think that's a really interesting strat that I've not really seen very often. So I think the knowledge is there. I think the player's ability is there. I just think that when it came to the crunch, when they were put under a lot of pressure by the aggression from Envision, I feel they just didn't know how to respond to that. And that can be the difference between a top team in Prem and, you know, a team that's not going to make playoffs, like knowing what to do in those situations and really kind of having those clutch moments. But I mean, looking at the game, Domaytoe, you know, it's kind of hard to tell after just one map and one match. But do you think Envision are going to be up and thereabouts by the end of the season again?
It's gotta be. Wait, who do you said? Envision or yeah?
Envision.
Yeah, Envision are probably my top 3. I think SECK probably, and then I would even place Envision on the second place as they're looking right now as seeing their biggest rival would probably be Fela, just rivaling on the second spot. So that's probably my top 3 there, SECK, Envision, and Fela for the end of the season. Don't pin me on it. I'm correct. If this doesn't, you know, reign true, then this just players not playing to my presentiment, which is correct. But honestly, what I'm seeing from the logs as well, by the way, it's quite the rough kill differential. If Envision have double the kills there, I mean, it's probably going to be a bit padded there, but I feel like this is probably going to show at some point that you have better coordination. But yeah, maybe not to linger on to the logs for so long. I think just to look at the underdogs maybe at MMR, they definitely need to figure out what went wrong here, and they have the time still to practice, even though you have to consider you only have 6 weeks these days, short seasons.
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Yeah, 6 teams means 5 weeks. It's not very much time to put your mark down, is it?
No, especially not if you're not good in math, but then again, now you see why I avoided logs all the time.
Oh, I'm sorry for doing a strange sound.
ArchRhythm combined the logs in his calculator, so we have combined logs now.
The first thing I saw was Stan hitting 420 DPM. So, you know, well done.
Come on. Well,
funny,
no,
it's a funny.
say the meme. You said boomer,
420, man. Yeah, blaze it. So actually not going top damage though. Detoad's just ahead on 455, but both demos are getting a lot of damage there. It was actually Utka top fragging. So when I quickly looked at 2 sets of logs and put some numbers together in my head, Utka with the 34 for 13 on a payload map. Very, very respectable. But then we have other players on Envision. Stinghan and Chupa both getting 31. The Polish dynamic duo getting 31 kills apiece. But I mean, it's nothing. I mean, you take a look at the kills on MMR. You know, we got some players in the 20s. Timtum was doing a lot of work. Solo was actually, I'm not sure if we got the sniper v sniper stats, but I feel like he was going toe to toe with Stinghan and doing pretty well. So you know, there's some good moments there, and I definitely think there's stuff MMR can take from this.
My only comment would be sort the tables by KD, the logs. Well, you know, I mean, definitely I'm going to back you up on that one. They had some lightning routes, but then again, it's about consistency. At some point, they definitely have to pick up the consistency, but enough bad talk. Yeah, I do think I agree with you there. They have the player potential. They just need to figure out how they can enable all their players to just do their craft, basically.
Absolutely, and sometimes the first week is not a really good reflection on how the season is going to go as a whole. But as it is at the table at the moment, all of the teams who played managed to get their complete wins. So Envision will be joining STCK and Kitty's Bark and Bandami with 6 points at the top of the table. But that is just week 1. We have 4 more weeks to go to decide which top 3 teams will be entering the playoffs. So definitely check back here on ChrisCast for more games in the future. I've been CeeJaey, joined by Domaytoe. It's been a pleasure as always, and Arch in the background doing production. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, old beaver! Away!